Let's take a look at using ChatGPT with Microsoft 365. I'm Gerry from Lightlever, and today we're going to have a look at using ChatGPT plugged into my 365 account. Now, I've been trying different AI tools for the last 6 months or so and playing with Copilot because trying to stay in the Microsoft ecosystem, since I am a 365 guy. And I've been finding I've been fairly disappointed with it, and decided I would try GPT. So my partner and wife is a expert user, I guess you could say, of all AI tools. She's been using ChatGPT since it first came out, and we decided we would sign up for the business edition of ChatGPT. So we did that a few days ago, and here's me playing with it a little bit, and I've got a few tips, 8 different points of things you can do with ChatGPT with Microsoft C365. And I'm going to give you my honest feedback, which isn't all good, but let's get into it. So first, this is one that I've been using quite a bit with Copilot as well, writing the JSON column formatting and view formatting expressions. I find that it quickly creates the JSON code to format a column or view. It's sometimes okay, usually takes a few tries to get it right, but still it's a huge time saver and quality improvement. What I mean by that is if you can format your columns and your views better using JSON, they really look much better, and JSON is hard to write without a tool like this, or at least for me it is. So my findings were that this was similar to Copilot, but it seems less error prone so far. So let me just give an example here. So we'll pop over to ChatGPT. Let's start a new chat for this. And I'm going to copy and paste a prompt from the other screen. I have a person field in a SharePoint list, and I would like to display just the profile picture and make it clickable. The click should open an email to that person. Can I do that with JSON formatting? So 14 seconds later, there we go. Now, to me, 14 seconds isn't a huge amount of time, and creating this schema, all this JSON with the square brackets and curly brackets and double quotes and single quotes and all of that would be very, very difficult for me to produce that. So this is one place that I really find that AI shines. You can then copy and paste this in. I've got other videos how to apply this to your columns or view formatting. Number 2, summarizing my week. ChatGPT can summarize emails, meetings, and chats all in one place. I find this is really great to get oriented and really get a snapshot of what's happening, what will be happening, or what has happened. Notice that it does misjudge or admit some nuance, so I find it to be helpful and not spot on. So let's pop over to ChatGPT, and I have a prompt for this to say, summarize my emails and meetings from last week and highlight the top 3 actions I need to take. Okay, so here we go. Summarizing. It keeps thinking longer for a better response. I did try setting it to instant to get answers more quickly, but it's not instantaneous. Now, while it's doing this, I'll mention that what I had to do was set up the connectors in ChatGPT. So I went down to my name down here, into settings, and then connectors. So here I was able to enable different connectors. So I have the Teams, the SharePoint. This was connected and started syncing earlier today, so it says partially synced. It's connected Outlook, email, and calendar separately. It does have the OneDrive connector here as well. And just for fun, I hooked it up to Gmail and Google Calendar. Though I'm told that you should be cautious with the Gmail connector. I don't know much more about that, so maybe do some research before you hook that one up. Okay, so here's my summarizing my meetings. So it shows the various meetings I had last week in a nice, easy, readable format with links to actually open the meeting up. I like that. There's some notable threads, so it picks up 3 of them here. Again, links are there. And top 3 actions. So based on looking at my emails, it's recommended 3 different things that I should do. And look at that, fulfilling the Woo order, Fast Track Intranet Kit. So I had to make sure that person gets access to the Fast Track Intranet Kit since they purchased it. Okay, number 3 is Smart Drafts for Outlook. So this is pretty great for drafting replies quickly. And as I've always said about project management, do you want it good, fast, or cheap? Well, it wasn't super cheap for ChatGPT. It's about $30 US per person per year, minimum 2 licenses for I'm talking about the business license. So, and also note that when Chat creates emails, it can feel too formal or too generic. So use it as a starting point, not as the final version. And so it was fast, but it will need editing. So let's take a look at that over here. Draft a friendly reply to Colleen. So let's see if it can find, there's a message from one of my clients named Colleen, and see if it can find that email and draft the response. There we go. Fantastic. So it's looked at my calendar, suggested some times, your local time. And this I find is really useful. Now, it thinks that I'm Lalo because that's my, with work I call myself Gerry, but here in Mexico I go by Lalo. Call me Gerry, please. So it'll remember that to call me Gerry now. Okay, so that's a definite win, but as I said, make sure you read through it. Don't just blindly rely on it. In this case, I check my calendar, etc. Okay, 4th of 8. So finding a file in SharePoint. So this, you can ask for documents conversationally, which I like the conversational tone and even the spoken aspect of it, which I'm not going to use in this demo, but it works really well. This finding a file is quick, but it's not perfect. It fails sometimes over permissions, and it is the natural search that works most of the time. So over here, let's say, what are the most recent 5 files I have worked on? Now, keep in mind, I have this connected through the SharePoint connector, which also reads my OneDrive, and I have all of my files stored in OneDrive for Business because I'm a small business, only a couple of people working here. And there we go. Okay, so this looks pretty good actually, as of October 11th. Timesheet data, that was one I was preparing for this, so you'll see that in a second. Internet design document, that's for that course we got coming up, Build Your Small Business Intranet. So that's our fictitious company. There's more in that small business internet. And there's some stuff for my taxes, tax returns, etc. So that's done a really good job of it. Keep in mind, and notice I discovered this when I tried to do this video earlier today, that if you're in a project over here, this connection to Outlook, to SharePoint, doesn't work. I don't know if other connectors might, but it took me quite a while to figure out why it couldn't see my files when I was in a project. Let's just close this menu on the side here. Number 5, summarize this document. Okay, you've seen this in Copilot as well. It is incredibly excellent for scanning big files, but be careful, it sometimes oversimplifies complex content. So make sure you confirm any key data manually, but it definitely can be a time saver. Make sure you verify the details. I've got an intranet design document for the MapleWorks Cooperative. So this is a course I'm developing. And let's just see how it does your job of summarizing. So first of all, it finds the document, gives me the version number, which is inside the document, by the way, that version 1.1. And here's a link to the document. So it gives a pretty detailed summary of everything in there, what it's got. Okay, so now I could get back to it and say, make that more brief, expand different sections, etc. So it becomes a dialogue here. So I quite like that. I'm pretty excited. Everything's working pretty well for this demo. The one earlier today, it wasn't. So, so don't expect it to be all and end all. So unified knowledge search, we saw a bit of this already, but the idea of pulling together context from Outlook, Teams and SharePoint. And how quickly it works and how well it works depends on the connections and how fresh the data is. So right now we're currently syncing to SharePoint, so we might not get great data. And it can be slow. Excellent content can be slow. Okay, so I have an example here to say, summarize all conversations. Let's see how slow it in fact is. Conversations with Sudhir Keshwani from Outlook, Files, and Teams. So we've got some great conversation Outlook, some shared files, and some Teams discussions, all with one little prompt. And of course, you know that you can take this and you can just copy this data. The copy button is at the bottom. I found that when I copy and paste tables, they don't always work properly, but you do have this copy button beside a table as well. So again, repurposing the content shows up here. I can read it here, but now maybe I want to put it into a document or send a report. Number 7, SharePoint design specs. So I do a lot of SharePoint intranet builds, and so I've been using this already and I really like it. So you can rapidly draft SharePoint lists, pages, or schema. Saves time but still needs human review and customization. And great for structure, but it needs review and refinement. So it'll get you most of the way there. So let me go back to ChatGPT, and I want to create a SharePoint list schema for tracking staff onboarding requests. So this is something one of my clients we're going to be meeting about next week. They want to have a simple form that captures new staff, and they want to track that whole onboarding process, and it's going to turn into an actual staff list through the process. So it's producing the schema in this bar kind of style, and I want to see it in a table format. So reproduce that in a clean table. Notice I'm misspelling reproduce, and it'll be fine. It's not encouraging me to type more carefully, that's for sure. It seems to understand what I mean just about every time. So they call this a word-friendly table. And let's see how it's going to turn out. There we go. And the cool thing about this too is the format, this field name, type, required, default, example, description. This format is actually based on the Lightlever design document, either the one you got in the toolkit, in the Intranet Build Toolkit. And I just told ChatGPT a few days ago that whenever I ask you for a list schema, use this format. So it remembers that, which is great. Okay, I'll say always show tables this way. So that's one of the things I really like about it, is that it's got a great memory. It remembers what I wanted. Okay, tip number 8. This one got me a little bit excited. You can load a large data set. I'll show you with Excel in a chat. You can ask for summary reports, and it can produce those reports in Word or PowerPoint. I find that it works really well. And I said here, but I would prefer if it could find the files for me. This may have been because it's in that project. So we're going to try it the easy way first and see what Chat does. Okay, Mr. ChatGPT or Ms. I'm going to say, referring to the timesheet data Excel, copy and paste in here. How many hours did Zahid bill this year? So it's reading documents. So that's great. It found the timesheet data. Last time I had to paste it in, but I guess it was because I was in a project. It may have even figured that out without me specifying the name of the file, but this is super nice. All right, so I'm still getting used to ChatGPT and using it with Microsoft 365, but we're finding great little ways to share content. We've got shared projects now between myself and my partner, and finding lots of time saving. But like most technology, it doesn't save as much time as I think it should, or as it claims to. So approach it as it will save some time, but it's not going to do your work for you like any technology. Like when we started with the paperless office years ago, I discovered mostly what we were able to do was a less paper office. So I think that's where AI is right now as well. It's a helper. I love the name Copilot because it's really identifies it as someone who works alongside you. With ChatGPT, I'm going to continue to experiment with that. I might go back to Copilot, but for now, I think I need to get to know this tool, this model. And please let me know in the comments of different ways that you have used ChatGPT or Copilot. How is AI serving you better? And feel free to reach out anytime. We love to build intranets for small businesses. That's our specialty. And we've gotten really good at it over the last 20 plus years. So there you go. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. We will talk to you again soon.